uh, so that you can easily go back to the question, and then you can review the opening sound. Could you please turn off your microphone? Please turn off your microphone. Okay, that's good. Off lang na to atong microphone ha, para dili kaayo siya saba. And then when we have this recording, it will be clear. Okay, so we are now in quarter 2, module 1. Title of our module here is Bank Reconciliation. And this is good for 2 weeks, from September 13 to 24. Okay, and then I have shared to you a very beautiful text. It's found in Colossians 3:13. I chose this text because it is connected to our lesson. So the text says, bear with each other and forgive one another. If any of you has a grievance against someone, forgive as the Lord forgave you. Why did I say that they are connected to each other? Our topic, bank reconciliation, um, it means that you are going to have two statements wherein you're going to reconcile it. Reconcile means you are going to put these two things, imo siyang usahon and see to check whether it's accurate or not. And then in our Christian walk, we can also do reconciliation, di ba? Forgiving each other if we have some grievances, if we have some burdens, or na ay mga problems, misunderstanding, we can actually patch up each other. You call that as reconciling. Okay? Now, I will not be talking to you anymore about this. Ikaw na lang, kamo na lang ang magbasa. You can just read all of this. It's just very short, so please don't skip that part. And also say the prayer in your devotional before mo mag-begin sa inyong lesson. Okay, so in this lesson, you are asked to prepare a bank reconciliation statement at the end of it. But before you do the bank reconciliation statement, you have to learn few things na dapat mahibawan. So these are the enabling competencies. Number one is you need to differentiate different accounts. Next, you're going to prepare bank deposits, withdrawal slips, and also prepare check. And then next will be identifying common reconciling items and their effects. So once we have already understood all these three enabling competencies, we can now create our bank reconciliation statement. Okay, let us begin with the first one. Anybody of you here has a bank account? Namoy mga bank account? Raise your hand if namoy mga bank account. I'm sure that your some of your parents, they have opened a bank account for you. Or if your parents, yes, thanks for Dorothy, raise the hand. What about the others? Isa pa nailaing bank account? Maybe your parents, they have a bank account. Okay, in getting a bank account, you will be asked what is the purpose, why you're going to get a bank account. So some of the common purpose will be you just want to save your money, diba? Or maybe you want to you have money and then remittances. So somebody, probably your mother or your father working abroad, and then they are going to send money to you. They can also use a bank account. Others, they will use the bank account for business purposes. Diba? That is the use of getting a bank account. Do you know that there are two different kinds of bank accounts? Okay, you have the savings and the checking account, or it's also known as the current account. This time, other banks, they have what we call the combo account. What is a combo account? Okay, it's a combination between the savings and the checking account or the current account. So when you hear the word checking account, it's also known as a current account. Okay? These are two separate things. So naay savings, naay checking, pero just what I have said, other banks are offering both. So kanang combination na siya nga pwede savings and checking together in an account. So naingon ana sad in other banks. Okay, so let us identify what is savings account, because the first thing that we need to do is to differentiate savings account and current accounts. So savings account is one where a passbook is presented for cash deposits and cash withdrawals. Okay, so if you're going to say the cash withdrawals are supported by withdrawal slips, and presently this account is no longer limited to passbook but even to ATM cards. So this time, the banks are no long are also offering ATM cards for savings account. So pag open kag savings account, they will ask you whether you want passbook or you want both passbook and ATM, or you only want ATM. Now, what's the difference? Usually, if you're going to get for an ATM card only for the savings account, then your maintaining balance is lesser compared to a savings account with a passbook. Normally na siya. But then other banks, I'm not so sure, pero normal na procedure ana is when you have a passbook, you're maintaining balance. Or some maintaining balance. It means that you should not withdraw this certain amount in your account. So maintain na siya din ha. You can withdraw an amount pero dili siya dapat mo abot. For example, if the maintaining balance is 2,000 and the money that is left in your account is 5,000, you can withdraw up to 3,000 only. You have to leave the 2,000 in your bank account. So you call that as maintaining balance. And but in the as like what I have said, if naakay 80 naakay passbook, sometimes the maintaining balance could reach up to 10,000. So below 10,000, yun naman unsa may tabo if I'm going to withdraw lesser than the usual amount of maintaining balance. Usually they will give you a penalty. So naay charge na ihatag sa imuha. So the next time that you're going to deposit your money, you will notice that it is not going to be the amount that you expected. Kaya nga naman, gimaynusa nila because the previous month, you have taken lesser than the maintaining balance. So, inana na siya. Okay? Wait for a while, ha? Okay. Wait. Okay, let us continue. Next, current account or the checking account. It is one where drawings are done by writing of checks and signing the same and giving check to the pay for encashment or for deposit within a bank. Okay, so I forgot to tell you about this one, the savings account. By the way, in the savings account, you can only deposit and withdraw using withdrawal slip, and deposit using a what? Deposit slips. So muna imuhang gamiton. While in checking account, okay, you can actually withdraw money by writing a check. Okay? So maka-withdraw ka og money writing a check. So you're going to make a check and then get have it kumbaga you are going to go to the bank and then encash it. You call that encashment. So the check that you have made, you will write there the amount that you wanted to withdraw and then encash it. But make sure that the information needed are complete. We will go there later on as we learn about writing checks. Okay. Now, banks usually pay a lesser interest rate compared to savings account. Okay, ang savings account, they offer higher interest rate. Nga naman, because in the savings account, only few people can keep a higher amount of money in the savings account. Usually, manggod ka ng savings account, mo na siya ginagamit for easy withdrawal. So, kay naa ka ATM, so imo na siya i-withdraw directly. And then, you can have it anytime, di na ka makinalan og check. And for current account, normally mo na din ang account nimo that bigger amount of money stays. So na din ha. So lesser yung interest rate, it's because dako sa mabayaran sa bangko. So mao na siya ang savings account mo ilang gibutang nga higher interest rate compared to the current account. Okay, so let us continue. Okay, so this is what I have mentioned to you, the combo account, a combination of savings and current account. So other companies, they have that one. So the good thing about combo account is that you can have the passbook. At the same time, you can have the check. Okay, you can issue checks for withdrawal. Okay, so what else? Any question before we move on to the enabling competencies number 2? Any question? Are there things that are not clear?
None, ma'am.
Okay, wala ha. We will continue now. So we will continue with EC number 2. In EC number 2, this is very, very easy. Why? You just have to, we will only see the parts of the withdrawal slips, bank deposit, and prepare also the check or see the parts of the check. So this is, ako siyang i-enlarge so that it will be easy to see. Okay, so this is an example of a withdrawal slip. I use BDO, but when you go to other banks, you can see that sometimes their withdrawal slip has a different format. Lahi siya nga format. But then, you will see common things. Unsa man ang mga common things inyong makita? They will always ask for a account name. So, dili pwede mo withdraw ka walay account name. They will always ask for your account number. Okay? They will always ask for the date of the withdrawal. When do you want to withdraw that money? And they will always ask you the type of account. What kind of account that you have in your bank? Is it savings or current? And they will ask for the currency. They will ask currency because sometimes other depositors, they have dollar currency. So na siya mga dollar checks ba, na siya dollar accounts. So they will always ask for currency. But for those nga walay kuan murag some in other banks, gilahi man sa nila ang withdrawal sa dollar account. Okay? They will ask for the amount to be withdrawn, how much that you need to withdraw. And of course, they will ask for the signature of the depositor because they will not issue this or they will not give the money to anybody. So dapat ang katudjong nag-deposit ang mag-withdraw. In the deposit slip, pwede maka-deposit bisin kinsa. Okay? So bisin kinsa ang perma din ha. It does not need the signature of the one that is in account name. So katong tag-iya sa account, not needed sa deposit slip. But in the withdrawal, needed yun na siya. And if ever you cannot withdraw the money, okay? Di ka maka-withdraw because of some reasons. Then you will have you can have a representative. But things here should be duly signed. So, kompleto gyud na siya and with ID. Because if you don't have an ID, dili sad na sila mo withdraw. Okay? So, even the bisan ikaw mismo nga nag-deposit, ikaw mismo nga nakaiya sa account, Di sad ka maka-withdraw kung wala kay ID. So same thing with the representative, need gyud ang iyahang ID and the ID of the owner of the account. Okay, let's go to the deposit slip. So deposit slip, this is now the face of the deposit slip, and it can be in different format. Okay, but then information that are important should be there. Bisan taglain-lain na siya format, naagid na yung mga information like account name. It has to, you have to write the complete account name of the owner of the account. You need the account number, the date of deposit, the type of account, the currency, and the amount in words and in figures. Okay, so ang deposit slip o ang withdrawal slip, they're almost the same ang ilahang information that are needed. Okay, next one will be the check. So this is the check here. This is an example of a check. It could be in different phases, lain-lain sa na sila og style, og lain-lain sa na siya color, depende sa bangko. Okay? But then information needs to be complete. So unsa nga mga information? There has to be an account number, and then drawee bank number. There has to be the signature as authorized signature. Authorized means it should not be just anybody. It needs to be the person who owns the account. So kung kinsa ra ang pwede. Actually, in a company, not only one person is an authorized to sign. Pwede duha, pwede tulo, pwede upat, depende. As long as you are going to send the specimen, specimen, sample signature to the bank. Okay, so naagi na siya sample signature. Why? What's the use of that? They are going to compare. They will compare it to the check that has been signed if it's the correct signature. Because if it's not the correct signature, of course, they will not encash the money. What is the reason why they will not encash the money? It's a protection. Okay? Protection na siya sa owner's account. Kay daghan biya kaayo mga fraud. So mga kuan. So they are going to protect the account owner. So it needs the date. The date also, from the date itself, you need to encash the check within 6 months. Why? If you will not encash the check within 6 months, the check is no longer good. So di na siya good nga check, it's a bad check na siya, which means kanang mura bitaw siya expired na siya. So you have to return the check back to the drawee. Okay, back to the drawee account, or the one who made it, katong kinsa nagsuwat ato. Okay, so you will see here, you have to return it and ask them to make another one. So this is the amount here. Check number is important. The drawer, which is where the account is coming from. So if it's a name of a person, you can also write the name of the person there. This is the payee. By the way, in the payee, it needs to be the correct spelling of the name of the person, correct spelling, and the person needs to have an ID. Kung wala siya official ID, then he cannot encash. But if it says pay to the bearer, that is dangerous, ha? Pay to the bearer, or pay to let's say, because if you say the bearer, it could be anybody. Okay, pay to let's say cash, that is also dangerous. Why? Because anyone can, for example, mawala ang cheque, and then anybody could encash it. Pwede na siya. And then, this one here is the words. You will write the figure in numbers and write it in words. And then, what else? Sometimes the check could have line. Na siya line diri o ibutang diri ibutangan niya line duha ka buok. What's that? That is what we call the cross check. So if it's a cross check, it means it cannot be encashed. It needs to be deposited to the account of the payee. Account lang sa payee. So for example, let's say the payee here is let's say Shekinah Lamorin. And then it is cross-check. Na siya linya diri, na line dira. So Shekinah Lamorin cannot encash that directly to the bank. She needs to deposit it to her account first. And then if the bank of the check is the same to her bank, she can encash it right away after niya ma-deposit. But if lahi ang bangko, for example, your bank is Metro Bank and this check is BDO. So lahi na sila. These are two different banks. You have to wait for at least 3 days for clearing. Okay? Saan na siyang clearing? Because they have to report it. I-report pa na nila ngadto sa ang Metro Bank, the bank nga imuhang gidepositohan, will have to report that to BDO. So i-check ila pang i-check kung naabag yung account number niya ngon ani, is there a person like who has a name like this sa iyang cheque, and to check everything in details para ma-encash sa imo. That is how secured ang cheque. So dili lang siya sayon-sayon nga ma-withdraw. So mo na siya, you have to wait for 3 days to clear up. Clearing period na siya. After 3 days, the amount will be reflected to your account. So after 3 days, i-check nimo sa imong account. Then you will see it that na dito, then you can withdraw na. Okay? I think there are other banks also nga fast ilang clearing. So sometimes 2 days, but normally just 3 days. Okay? This is a sample of a bank statement. Okay? Bank statement are always given to the account owner, the depositor, every end of the month. Okay? Or depende na siya. Usahay every 5th day of the month of the following day, because they have to wait until the end of the month. Hulaton pa man yun nila, basi na apay transaction up to 30. But sometimes they have a cut-off period. So let's say, cut off silang 25, so they can give the statement at the end sa 30. So, ano na siya, depende na siya. Usually, this is given monthly. But then I wonder, because most of the, I don't know with other banks, but in our bank, ako as a China bank, Mangko, they're not giving bank statement. They will just ask me if I'm going to ask for a bank statement. Siguro, di na sila ganahan mag-waste of paper. I'm not sure kung sa ilahang kuan ano dili na sila mo hatag. But you can always request for it. Pero if you will request for more than 1 month, let's say for example, you will request for 3 months because you're going to use it for some business transactions, then normally they will ask you to pay for it. Hindi na siya free. Okay, let us continue. Okay, now what is inside your bank statement? So inside your bank statement, you will see all your transaction. Kung sa may nahitabo within, this one is for the month of November. So for the month of November, I have made these transactions. I have naining abot nga check or a check that was debited to my account. So giminus siya. Let's say maybe I issued a check for someone, and then that check already cleared to my account. Na-appear na siya diri, then giminus na siya sa ako ang balance. So the 4,200 was being deducted to my balance of 44,200. So nahimo na lang siyang 40,000. And then later, in November 5, I made a deposit of 5,000. It added to my account now, so 4,500. And then later, in 11 or November 6, I received an interest, okay? Because the banks will always give you an interest man na siya based on your balance. So my interest is 500. It is being added now. It's now 45,500. By the way, the interest is annual, okay? Annual. But some banks, they divided it into monthly, but normally it's annual base. And then you have here the withholding tax, okay? Your amount or your money in the banks are being deducted with withholding tax. So nanda siya tax, you have to pay the government for the money that you have placed in the bank. So naay tax nga 50 pesos, it is being deducted. And then you also have a bank service charge because it's always like that. This one, mo na siya mga income sa bangko. So they will always ask for a bank service charge for you because they have safe keep your money. So gi-keep nila imuhang money, ilang gi-save. So you have to pay for that. So that's 150. You deduct it. That's 45,300. Okay. And then there was another check that has been cleared. Naigi kuan withdraw na 5,200. So you have now 40,100. Okay, so these are the information that you can also see in your bank statement. Sometimes you will see NSF. What's the NSF? Not sufficient fund. Other depositors, they will forget kung how much is their money. So they will just issue a check and then they will forget to deposit an amount. So your fund is no longer sufficient. So dili kaabot ang imuhang money to the amount that you have prepared in your check. Because it's not sufficient, mutawag na siya bounce check. Oh, na-bounce niya, nakadungog na mo, anak ka na, may sila, uy, na-bounce check. So bounce check means not sufficient fund. So if there is an NSF, since you have issued a non-sufficient fund check, they are going to deduct once lang charge. This is a charge from you. But this, see, nowadays bank refer this as a DAIF na, drawn against insufficient fund, or sometimes it could be DAUD, drawn against unclear deposits. Okay, so usahay ang ilang isuwat dito kanina, or sometimes ang ilang isuwat kani. Okay, other banks would use NSF, but these three kani siya nga mga terms parihara na sila. Okay, there could be interest income. Okay, muna ako na siya. Right, so we have ended our EC number 2. Before we move on to EC number 3, na may questions? By the way, mo end din ni siya ato ang Zoom ha. We just have 4 minutes left. Pero I want you to click it again because mubalik lang ta. Because we still have the last topic to discuss. Okay, so after ni siya mawala, go back to the link and click it again. Mura na inyong buhaton. Okay, questions? Nay question? About sa check, about sa withdrawal slip, about sa bank slip or bank deposit slip? Questions? Anybody? Wala? No question about it? Okay. Now, since we still have 3 minutes, ako na lang itakol ang katong kani siya nga part. Asa na to? Inyuhang let it stay nga part because it is related to EC number 2. So in your let it stay, you are asked to create you are going to create a check and you're going to prepare a deposit slip. The deposit slip, I have already answered you. Actually, kaning duha, na-ansira na nako siya sa group kay na nag-question. But then I will repeat it again. In your deposit slip, you can use the real deposit slip if you have. But if you don't have, you can just draw your own deposit slip. But if you have, then you can use that and make sure this information complete. Maghimo-himo lang sad mo og bank account. It could be your name as your bank account. Maybe just use your name na lang para it will be easy. Use your name and then other information you can just create on your own. And this one, you have to create your own check. Now, you cannot use a real check because I want you to create a real check because I want to see whether you have placed the correct information. Katong mga importante nga information that has to be there in your check. Okay? And then, it should be payable to Mega Green Corporation. Okay? Payable to Mega Green Corporation. And how much is the amount? It needs to be 10,000. Okay? You are the authorized signature and then create a company if you want to put as a drawee or a drawer. And then create also a bank. Okay? A bank drawer kung asa gikan ang bangko. Okay? So pwede ninyo mo-copy mo sa mga normal nga bank like the one that we have here. Anyway, it's only for kung ano na siya for you to submit. Okay, the activity. So mo na siya ang let it stay. Right? So anytime from now, mo stop na ni siya, go back to our group chat and then click again the link. Hapit na tama human, don't worry. Isa na lang ka part and then it will be finished. Okay, I will read to you the text that I have shared in the module as your jewels of wisdom. Matthew 6:19 to 20. Lay up not for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through or steal. I know that we are so concerned of what's going to happen in the future, but these are temporary. Temporary lang siya nga mga treasures. We always have to remember to make sure to keep more treasures in heaven because that is everlasting. Yeah, so that is only the lesson that we can get from this text. Okay. Questions? Di ko ganahan mo start og easy number 3 because I know it will end soon. 1 minute na lang, Jude.
Ma'am, pila ka deposit slip ang ano mo ang buhaton tulo ka buok sa activity 2?
No.